Greetings, everyone. I'm going to talk about Gully as a point of reference because I think there's a moral lesson in it for everyone. Now, Gully was discovered when he was much younger. At the time, he was going by the name Countryman. If I'm incorrect, say so in the comment section, but I believe he was going by the name Countryman. He was discovered and then he sort of just disappeared. And then later on in life, he was then discovered again, and this time referred to as Gully. Now, what I want to say to you that all of us come into this world with purpose. And until that purpose is fulfilled, we're not going anywhere. Okay? Now, when Gully was brought back to fame and things happened so fast and the transformation was so great, and he was sort of this messenger in terms of letting people know that when I did Nadashwe, or it's never too late for a shower of rain, or never give up behind the storm. The rainbow is there. Before the dawn or break of day, it's the darkest part of the night. I'm giving all these references for you to understand what this is about. And so he came on the scene, and did he ever entertain people? A man who was living in the ghetto, not just ghetto, but living in the gutter, as they said, started traveling the world, started entertaining people. But here's the thing, his life took a 360-degree turn. 1 minute, it appears as if he was homeless and hungry and suffering. You look at those earlier pictures, and you can see that life was difficult for him. And he looked like someone who had mental health problems. And listen, not only did his breakthrough come, but the bigger picture is what we need to look at. How many lives he changed. He changed so many lives. So people started focusing on his behavior. The fact that, they said he was rude and he was ungrateful and all the other words that they used to describe him. But he might have been those things, but it was a lot more to other people. People had social mobility because they met him. People had financial stability because they met him. People's lives changed. He introduced people like Amari to the world, introduced people like Chin. People might have known her, but she became very popular to this day. Gully Bob lived the life that he decided was the best life to live. His desires and his dreams were fulfilled because he said there were times when he would watch overhead and see the plane flying and just said, one day I'm going to be in that. Wow, he manifested that. When he was discovered again, he was able to get in bed, let's keep it real, with a woman that he would have no chance of getting in bed with if he didn't have money. I don't care how offensive that might sound, it is the truth. To this day, that young lady is embarrassed. She's ashamed of the fact that people associate her with Gully, well, she's going to have to live with that. That's just how it is. He was able to achieve things than m- more than other persons who society would say is more respectful. And who doesn't know Amari? Who's Jamaican that is that doesn't know Mary or know of her? Because we don't really know these people. We know of them. Some of you may know her personally. Regardless of what happened between her and Gollibop, she has him to thank. And Amari, if you're watching this video, don't allow yourself to say anything negative about Bob, whether you're hurt or you're angry, or it's just your way of trying to make peace with whatever situation or whatever feelings you're holding. Don't allow yourself to do that. Because of him, your life changed. It doesn't matter who he became, he extended his blessings to you women, all of you women. Queen, what did she call herself? That older lady. I mean, all these people were well known on social media because of Gully Bob. So we could clearly see that there was some stuff going on with his mental health, whether it's depression. I don't know who wouldn't be depressed if they lived in that situation. There are many of us who are depressed. People just don't know because we're able to mask it with clothes or whatever. He came from that lowly place. I'm sure there are times he gave up. And it shows you that we are not in control. If God says yes, then nobody can say no. Now, I also want to say is sometimes when we get our opportunity and we blow it, or sometimes there's a certain part of our character that needs to be worked upon. So when we get the opportunity, it goes away. Second time around, we're cleaned up and we're restored to that former place of glory, only for us to recognize, not necessarily for other persons to see us, but for us to see ourselves, our true spirit, our true nature. So if it's ingratitude that you need to work on, if it's disrespect, those features or those parts of our personality will then show when we're in the public's eye. We don't want to just focus on the negative this in this video though. What I want to say is it's never too late for you to achieve whatever it is that you'd like to achieve. It's never too late. And no one can determine your future except you. So even when the breakthrough comes, if it's glory you seek, if it's public acceptance, when that time comes, ultimately, what people bring to you, the love they show you, and all that does not matter until you show it to yourself. The money is not going to make you more happy. The fame and the fortune is not going to provide you with that, emotional stability. These are things that you have to work on as individuals. So you might think, if only had money, if I only had this opportunity, I'd be able to do this and that. You should be able to do everything without those opportunities if those things are what you really desire. If those things are really important to you. So the fame came, the money came, and let's not forget that he literally gave away a lot of what he had. It was not important to him. The riches and the fame was not important to Gollibop. It was not. Otherwise, he would have held on to it. He is now passed. May he rest in peace. And there's no point in people talking about who he was and whether negative or positive in a way that makes you feel angry or makes you feel sad. There's no reason to be sad because he lived his best life. He did it his way. Because whatever people say about Gully Bob, if he was afraid of being labeled that way, it would have forced him to be the way other people want to see him or thought he should be. He lived his best life. And so if he came back to ground zero, he made that choice. Because at that point, it wasn't about the wealth, it wasn't about the fame, it was that journey that he went on was meant to teach him something. And if you believe that he didn't learn those lessons and understood what was right or important, you're mistaken. Earlier this morning, I had an encounter with somebody and I was feeling some negative vibration. I had to catch myself and I had to say, no, it's not about what someone wants from me, it's what I want for myself. And my spirit is supposed to be awakened and wild out if someone is trying to give me something that I think is less than what I deserve. Because if I don't want it, if I don't think I deserve it, even when it's given to us or given to me, I'm not going to appreciate it. And so we have to just kind of roll back when it comes to people making decisions that is best for themselves, whether they have mental health issues or whether it's, in your opinion, it's silly. It's not your life. He was frowned upon and looked down upon for so many years of his life, yet he's had experiences that you and I can dream about. He's probably had more experience than some other persons who consider themselves more talented. What is it that you desire and how much do you want it? Or do you really want it? Because sometimes when you get it, you'll find, oh, I always wanted this thing and now I have it. I don't want it. It's not that important to me. And you go right back to living without those things. You have to think about these things and think about it carefully. But at no point should you allow someone to allow you to settle for less than what you think you deserve. You have to know what you want and you have to be prepared to fight for it. And even when you are working towards it and you feel like you're falling under the weight of that desire, you just have to keep going. It's okay to become righteously angry if anything tries to stand in your way of achieving the thing that you know you deserve. But ask yourself the question, do I really want this and why do I want it? Because sometimes we think we want something and we really don't want that thing. We often want the things that we think are out of reach. He lived a fulfilled life. He did a lot of things that made him happy, including substance abuse. He chose that. That didn't choose him. And so sometimes people think substance abuse has to do with causes mental health problems, but no, it's the other way around. Sometimes it's a way to cope with those inner voice and those inner demons that we all struggle with. All of us have them. Some of us learn how to silence them, quiet them, but there's certain triggers in life cause them to come up for us. And we bury them with substance, we bury them with food, we bury them with intimacy, we bury them with all kinds of things until we finally get to the point where we have to surrender and say, listen, I have to let go all of these clutches and accept the fact that here I am standing with these shadows and I can choose to go past them or I can allow them to stay with me. Regardless, we would have impacted others as well as ourselves, whether negatively or positively. But in Gully Bob's case, he changed many lives. And because of that, no one, no one has the right to judge him. We often forget the good things that people do. We tend to dwell on the negative things. I'm choosing to remember him in a very positive way and to say, you know what? He's still that face, that reminder that God is just and fair. And as the Bible says, he reigns on the just and the unjust. He falls blessing on the righteous and the unrighteous. And the most important thing is, how much did we influence other person's life? Because you can do things to yourself that is destructive and yet impact other person's life in such a powerful way and change it for good. Golibab did that. Let's remember that. Let's remember that as we go forward in living our own lives. What is it that you desire? Why do you want the thing? Do you want it bad enough? How much do you really desire it? Because you might think you want it, but when it comes, you do everything to destroy it because that was not the real need. You're allowed to walk that path, to encounter those things, to bring you back to the center, to fulfill your dreams and that of others. Stay blessed, everyone.